thanks for checking in. This video is going to be kind of fun because I'm going to focus on the real impact of suppressors or silencers or whatever name you want to call them. It's the little can that fits on the front of the barrel and makes it not quite as annoying. And that's really the point. That's really the point. Now, we're not going to convince anti-gun people who have been indoctrinated by TV and movies and all that, that somehow, you know, it turns a 45 into a kind of gun. It's hard enough to get that to a 22. But I am going to talk about the realities of a suppressor and what that means to the shooter and what that means to people around them. And it's not going to be low, right? So stand by. Now, what prompted me to make this? Well, I was reading some anti-suppressant opinion in some, mainstream media outlet, and I was stunned by this argument against suppressors. And the argument says, I have a right to hear gunfire, and that supersedes your right to protect your ears. And oh, by the way, there's no evidence that there's a public health issue with hearing related to shooting. So if you guys that are shooting guns have problems with your ears, stop shooting guns. I swear that was the argument. I have a right to hear gunfire. And if you put those silencer things on your guns, I won't be able to hear it. So if there's shooting going on in the house next door, I won't hear it. If there are people hunting and they're close to me, I won't hear it, so I won't be able to avoid the hunters. If there's some kind of mass shooting attack and they're using some, I won't be able to hear it. What? That was the argument. And, oh, by the way, if you have problems with loud noises when you shoot, don't shoot. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the realities of what a suppressor / silencer does, and I'm going to focus on the the AR 5.56 standard old round that we shoot if you have one of those, and what that really means. Unbelievable. So we're taking a look at this. There are many different sound level decibel charts. This is just one type. By the way, this is a logarithmic curve. Don't worry about that. For those folks that aren't math related like me, just understand that it gets really bad really fast the farther up the curve you go. Now the scale is at 200, which is the loudest possible true sound that science can measure right now as it relates to the human ear, for sure. Intolerable is above 150 to 160. Now, this is where it gets really important for you to understand. An AR or an AK or any of those kind of rifles, when fired, the raw sound level is right there, which is the reason you really, really need to wear hearing protection with those rifles. Now, I wear double hear protection. I wear plugs and earphones. Now, what you should know is that if you're wearing earphones alone, they usually drop about 25, maximum 30 decibels, right? So we'll take it from 160 down to the threshold of pain, which is why I wear earplugs and earmuffs, because that stuff still hurts if you shoot it for a long time. And one of the reasons why having a suppressor really helps the hearing. Okay, so it takes it from you can't really shoot that rifle for a long time down to you can shoot it even if you're wearing a headset, but it's still going to mess with your hearing over time if that's what you are doing
very frequently. So let's talk about what happens when you add the ear plugs along with the standard ear protection. So it'll take it from like 130 down about another 15 to 20 decibels, which puts it still in the category of, if you do that a lot, like you train a lot, you're an instructor on the range a lot, even with double protection, over time you're going to experience some hearing loss, right? So that's the reason for this idea of having a suppressor on a firearm. It has nothing to do with turning it into an assassin's weapon. So what happens if you put a suppressor in the mix? Well, remember, it's going to take it, most suppressors, let's call it 30 decibel reduction. So it'll take it from 160 down to 130. And this is the misconception where I don't have to wear ear protection. Well, it takes it down to the same level as if you are wearing hearing protection, right? That is, if all you're wearing is the headset, you're still right at the threshold of pain. So what the suppressor does is takes it down to that level without it. Now, if you put the headset on, you're going to drop it another 25 to 30, right? Which takes it down below the hearing loss level. So now with just a suppressor and the standard earpiece headset, you are now in the safe zone for repeated shooting, training, whatever you're doing. Okay? That's if you're wearing a headset. Now, if there's somebody standing next to you and they're not wearing ear protection, they're going to get the full 130 with a silencer. They're going to get 130. And it's going to be annoying, right? So a suppressor plus ear protection takes you down just below the hearing loss level, puts you about a 110 to a 100. If you're wearing double protection like I do, it adds another 20. So now it takes you down to, if you're running a vacuum cleaner all day. Okay? That's what's important about having suppressors, and the Hearing Protection Act is in fact a real legitimate title for the bill that's running into Congress. Now let's talk about the silly argument, I have a right to hear gunfire. Well, most stupid sheeple are not going to be wearing hearing protection when shots are fired, right? And remember, with a suppressor on a naked gun, you're taking it down to the threshold of pain. By the way, that's a similar sound as a jackhammer. I don't care where you are, you're going to hear a jackhammer. You're going to hear it out in the field. You're certainly going to hear it if it's close to you in another room, in another building. You're going to hear that sound. So suppressors do not take away your right, if you want to call it that, to hear gunfire. Trust me, you're going to hear gunfire. Oh, by the way, unless the person is a sniper and they're shooting from 1,000 yards away or some distance away, you're going to fall down dead before you hear the gunfire. So don't worry about hearing it. Anything that's close up, you silly civilians that are concerned about that, a suppressor does not take the noise of the gun down to a level that you cannot hear it. Even if it's a 22. I don't know how many of you have shot 22s out in the field, but a naked 22 you can hear. A suppressed 22, if you're close enough, you can hear if you don't have ear protection. The Hearing Protection Act matters. Adding a suppressor makes shooting more tolerable and less annoying, and does nothing to prevent anyone from hearing the fact that shooting is taking place. Now, I will say that there is some technology that tries to locate the source of gunfire, and it gets messed up when a suppressor is used. Those tools are not used very well. They're usually anti-terrorism kind of things. They're not easy to deploy, and they're not available. So, you know, that's not even I mean, law enforcement is not going to say, don't have suppressors on firearms because our toy won't work, right? Now, the manufacturer of those tools might, but hey, sucks to be them. So, that's the science and the numbers behind why the Hearing Protection Act matters, why silencers matter, and why it doesn't cause any trouble for civilians who are scared of guns to hear them. And no, I am not going to stop exercising my Second Amendment right to protect my hearing. I want to put a silencer on my rifle so I can protect my hearing and wear hearing protection too. One more thing. If you're using an AR or a large caliber pistol or whatever, and you're using it inside your home for self-defense, just understand that if you don't take the time to put hearing protection on before you shoot, which is likely, you probably won't do that, your ears are going to be ringing for a while. And so will the bad guys. So it'll be like somebody throwing a flashbang inside the house without the flash. So just understand, it's going to mess your hearing up, and it's going to mess the bad guys' hearing up to the degree that you have to shoot.
That was my quick and dirty explanation of the impact of suppressors on hearing and why wearing hearing protection does matter, why the Hearing Protection Act and be able to get suppressors matters, and why anti-gun people just need to shut up and just shut up. They're too ignorant to deal with this. So as always, thanks for watching. Carry on.